And here it is, the iconic BMW M3. It is one of my favorite M3s of all times, and I've tried all of them. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to a new episode on V Test Drive. Today is a special episode. It is our last one of the season with sports cars because, yes, winter is coming. And it's getting a little bit chilly in Canada, so I won't be able to review a lot of backroad drive sports cars. A lot of them are going to be stored for the winter. So I want to give out a final hurrah of our episode of our summer with this beautiful 2008 E92 BMW M3. I'm going to take you a little bit around the car and I'm going to show you what 12 years of BMW engineering has held up. And let me tell you, it's held up significantly well. Now please don't mind the bug splatter. Yes, even though I had this car cleaned, a lot of bugs out today. They're kind of infesting the car. But regardless, look at this front end. This is the ultimate package. So you get this beautiful M bumper, blacked out grille, not stock. This is an aftermarket blacked out grille. But really, the show stealer is this little thing right here, the bulge on the hood. And it is not made for style. It is actually made for practicality. This engine was so huge that they had a hard time fitting it in the car. This is why they bulged it so they can fit the huge air intakes at the top. And you got the vents and the grills, and believe it or not, one of them is actually used for cold air intake. I mean, back in 08, this car was extremely advanced for its time, and it's held up super well. But really, let me draw your attention to this. This is mental. I don't know if video is going to do it justice, but in real life, these pipes are huge. They almost look to be 3 inches in diameter, 2.5. It's crazy. So this car is equipped with a Gentani exhaust system. It is not the original. It is an aftermarket slip-on. There is a little bit of a drone, but nothing too crazy. And when you do open it up, it sounds amazing. But one thing that you need to note is if you do decide to go into the aftermarket exhaust system range is that BMW engineers thought of everything. Their original exhaust system was actually used as a diffuser for the air. So when you remove the original exhaust and fit in an aftermarket, you do increase drag. But really, that only is felt if you do some crazy Autobahn speeds. On normal, everyday driving conditions, this little extra is totally worth it. And then the sporty accents continue all the way to the side of the car. This one is equipped with the 19-inch competition wheels with Michelin Pilot Power Sports. These are equipped from the factory. Highly recommended if you do change your tires, you change for these ones. But these blacked out mags really look amazing. I freaking love white cars with black mags. Contrasting is for me the ultimate thing. You guys know if you've seen my videos. And this car just follows along that. Amazing tinted windows, they look really good. And this carbon fiber roof, fully carbon fiber, no sunroof. It is made to lower the center of gravity. And my oh my, does it make a freaking huge difference, definitely. And here it is, the power plant, the 4-liter naturally aspirated V8. This is the heart of this M3. Very simple. It is a V10 with 2 cylinders shaved off, derived directly from the M5. Insanely high revving engine, good horsepower. Torque figures aren't that high because it is a very rev happy engine. We are looking at 414 horsepower at 8,300 RPM. in 296 pound-feet at 3,900 RPM. So it really is a very linear power delivery. It is quite an interesting engine. You would expect the V8 to be like the Mercedes and have very low-end grunt. It actually doesn't. Anything under 4,000 RPM, not much happens. You do have to put your foot down. But I do want to direct your attention to the interesting design of this hood. This is a fully aluminum hood, and as I said earlier, if you notice, the cold air intake vent is right here. I mean, I can sit down and just stare at this for hours. What a beautiful machinery and beautiful piece of work. And we are inside the 2008 BMW M3. What can I say? Extremely simplistic. This car, as you may notice, does not have a screen, so it means it is not equipped with iDrive. Personally, I totally prefer that. iDrive is good, but it really dates the car. It's their early iterations of the iDrive systems. They were good, but today's standards, the computers have evolved so much that the iDrive in these cars is pretty much obsolete. And yes, if you noticed, this car is a 6-speed manual. You can get it equipped with a DCT. If you can get your hands on a 6-speed manual, I suggest you do. It's always going to keep a value. Manuals are a dying breed. They've been a dying breed for the last several years. Now, as you notice, this car has a beige leather interior. At first, I don't know how I felt about that. I felt like it should have been red or black. But beige is kind of nice. It looks premium. It looks more luxurious, and in the summer, on hot summer days, your interior cabin remains fairly cool. But really, those heavily bolstered M seats with the M embroidered right on top here are incredible. They are so comfortable. So comfortable. I can't even stress how comfortable they are on long rides. And not just that, the leather is very fine, comfortable Napa leather. It feels really good. It bolsters so good, and the bolstering is adjustable. You have a button to adjust how much you want your side bolstering to be. Leg extensions here. I mean, I don't need to get too much into details. Doug DeMuro reviewed the E92. I will link it down in the description below. Go have a look. He really went in depth with all the quirkiness, including those cup holders. Those are something else. BMW engineers, how can I make a cubby that goes in and that retracts, and that this is it. You have seatbelt pushers as well. They all break. They tend to break all the time, but definitely go check out Doug's video. He nails it when it comes to interior quirks and features. You get a push button start, but since this doesn't have the convenience package, you still got to put in your key in. Don't ask me why. I think that is dumb, but that is what it is. This car also not having a convenience package means that you need to lock and unlock with your remote control. So if you're in the market for a used BMW, definitely try to get one with the convenience package equipped. Now I want to know how this car drives on normal driving conditions, and I want to take it on some back roads. Nice sunny day today, pretty hot. I think it's the last day of the season where we can actually do this. So let's hop on in this E92 M3 and let's take it for a spin. Come on. All right, and we are off in the 2008 BMW M3 E92. A lot of BMW M3 owners are fairly young, and they do tend to push their cars pretty extremely. Again, these cars are M cars. They're made to be pushed. But if you're in the market for an M3, really try to find a nice, clean example that has a good service history. That is the most important part. And I'm telling you, this car is at an all-time low right now in the used market. We're in the end of 2020, and you can still find them for about 20 to 25,000 Canadian clean examples. And I predict exactly like what happened with the E46, these cars will hit rock bottom in the pricing, and if you have a clean example, it will skyrocket back up in price. So don't expect to lose an insane amount of money if you do purchase this vehicle, and keep it in good shape and maintain it. But you need to be cautious about two very important things if you're in the market. Two significant problems that this car will have. One of the main ones is rod bearing failures, as well as the actuator valves. That is another huge problem on this engine. But it's important to note, this car having 83,000 kilometers hasn't shown shown a single sign of any of these two common failures up to now. So you might get a car that is a lemon, or you might get a good example like this one where you might never even have any of those issues. A lot of vehicles today are turbocharged for fuel efficiency, for emissions, but there's not a lot of naturally aspirated V8s on the market today. And this kind of brings you back to the golden age when manufacturers can do some crazy things without being overly bared by regulations and emissions. I mean, we're talking about the era of the S8 having a V10. We're talking about the era of the SL65 with the V12 twin turbocharged engine. We're talking about the era of the Brabus. We're talking about the era of like when Germans really went in freaking sane. I mean, let's see, we got a nice little straight coming here. We're gonna downshift a bit. Let's go down to second. And like I said, let's not push it too much, but let's see what we can do. So second, I pull so strong to red line, Jesus. Oh my God, the brakes are so good. Wow. For a 12-year-old car, the brakes are insane. I can't even explain it. The second it starts going, it keeps going. Faster and faster and faster. There's no slowing down. It just keeps constantly pulling, and before you realize, you're doing some crazy speed. And I feel like the quicker you go, the more stable the car becomes, the more predictable the car becomes. And I've owned an E92 335i. I've owned one. I've driven it for 2 years, so I know what the BMW E92 platform is. This is nothing like it. This is a completely different car. I feel like the M division engineers just took something, stripped it apart, and made something completely new. And now we're on some back roads, the usual place where we go. I'm not gonna push it too much, like I said. It needs an oil change, but I mean, let's get a feel for its stability while we're at it. We have a curve coming here, let's see. It's just so direct. It's such a direct feel. It feels like the Porsche 911. It really does. I know exactly what's going on. God damn, this car is stable. We have a nice curve coming here. Let's take a look at it. Let's go, downshift. Limited slip doing its job. The traction control intervenes quite a bit though. It's not a very sophisticated traction control. Okay, we're gonna have a nice curve coming here. We're gonna open it up in the straight. Oh my God, it goes. It's a little bit scary, I'll be honest. The Porsche definitely felt like it had a little bit more control, but this is still doing a crazy good job. The only issue is you gotta keep it high in the rev band. You see, I didn't downshift now, and I'm losing a lot of power because it is not a torquey engine. When you keep it above 4,000 RPM, that's when it really goes. Turn into here. I felt the back end starting to spin out a bit. I look down at my speedometer and I'm always shocked. It's just you're expecting that you're going a lot slower than you really are. Especially once you warm up your tires, the thing really goes. So precise, it is so freaking precise. Hard on the brakes. I mean, this car does a lot of things right. Seriously, for the price point it's at, it really puts a lot of sports cars to shame. All right, so here are my final thoughts on this E92 M3. It's just, the quicker you drive it, the more responsive and the more crazy things tend to get, especially if you put the power button on. I mean, that just makes things so much more aggressive. Even if you're driving it slow, it's subdued, it's comfortable. Having an aftermarket exhaust, it is a little bit loud for everyday driving. I would keep the stock one or put the M Performance one. That would be my choice. But overall, for a 12-year-old sports car, this thing does not disappoint. I can only imagine going back in 2008 and trying this. There was nothing like this out there. Shoving a V8 in such a small two-door BMW was just insane. I can't believe the engineers actually did something that crazy. But they did it right, they did it good, they really did a great job at it. And again, you step on the gas and the car goes, it's so stable. I can't believe how quickly I took that curve. It's crazy, it just grips, monstrous grip. This car is intoxicating, this car is addictive. You can use it as a daily driver or you can just keep it as a weekend car. It does everything super well. And then you can just stop, take your pulse, because the adrenaline was rushing, and then you can go back out on a ride, drive it very normally, very subdued in the mountain areas, and be crazy relaxed. This car does it. This car is the ultimate package, practicality, anything you can think of. This car is a stealer. It comes so close to the 911 that I drove a few weeks ago. I mean, that's interesting. I'd really like to know head to head how this against the 911 would perform. I really think it would give the 911 a run for its money. But let me know what you guys think of this E92 M3. If you own one, what are your comments? I kind of went through it quickly because there are so many videos out there on this car. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a quick experience on what it's like as a first owner for a BMW M3. This isn't my car, but it is my brother's, so I got to experience it quite a bit, and I kind of have a feel of it, and I love it. I genuinely love this vehicle, and I'd love to have one in my garage in the near future. And I really hope you guys get to have one in your garages if you're on the market. And take a look at it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. We're doing so well, and I want to keep that streak going. You guys are awesome. I love you all, and we'll see each other very soon. Bye-bye.